Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're taking a look at the Glencadam 17-year-old PX Reserva 2006 edition, 46% ABV. And this is dark. Keith brought over us Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey PX Sherry Quarter Cask Finish. Not only is it PX Quarter Cask,
I was going to say, at 46%, we've seen hair darker whiskeys. Not at 46.
From what I understand of it, it was in bourbon cask, I think, for the majority of the time. And I think the last 2 years or so, they put it in first fill quarter cask sherry casks.
PX cask.
PX
Jeez.
cask, Pedro Jimenez cask. So,
Quarter cask, you get a lot of contact with wood.
Exactly.
Man, they picked the right color label for this purple. So this is bottle 3504 of 4188. Nice.
So I saw that for a decent price. I saw Glencadam, which I've only had a few expressions. I know, didn't the people that own Glendronach, didn't they buy out Glencadam? No, Billy Mitchell. Who was the
Billy Walker, but he bought Glenallachie.
I think it wasn't it Glencadam, Glenallachie, and like a couple other distilleries.
I'm not aware of that, but maybe he did.
It was around the same time.
I know Glenallachie's gotten a lot of hype recently in the last few years.
Glencadam,
sorry. And
Ralphie made it one of the Glencadams as Whiskey of the Year.
Yeah, and I think in general...
5 years ago? 5 years ago.
And we've done a few expressions, Mike. I think we've done the 21.
Maybe done a few.
Maybe we've done a single cask or two. It's a distillate that needs a little help, I feel like. So I'm excited to see the PX with it.
Yep. Always like an overcoat with a rough spirit.
Yeah. And you know what? Does not smell super oaky, which I'm already super excited about because I know quarter cask, 2 years. You could be overpowering it. But this is actually pretty nice.
It's starting to get into that rich sherry matured zone where it's not just the shallow, fruity grapiness, where it's actually like starting to turn into like some chocolate and some real vibrant
There's
fruits.
There's still a good amount of purple in here.
Yeah, I've always likened Glencadam's malt in the best possible way to more of like a grain whiskey in Scotland, in that it's very vanilla forward. It's a little metallic-y though, but again in the best way possible. And putting that with this PX cask is actually a lot of fun because I get that clean grain vanilla note with the PX. I like it.
Definitely prunes and a slight acidic sourness too. Not strong, but just barely there.
That metallic-y tin note that Glencadam has, I think, is on the back end here, but it's actually working well for it here.
I get a cola note. Not strong. Barely there.
Cola or coal?
Cola.
Okay. You could convince me a little bit of coal, too, actually.
Yeah.
But you're right. I can get a little bit of maybe more of a Pepsi than a Coke, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very dark. Very dark, but it's not a heavy darkness. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's plums, or it's but it's a thinner version of them.
It's got that clean vanilla powder that's coming through at the end that sort of lightens everything up. You know what I mean?
Like confectionery powder?
Yeah. Because instead of getting darker and darker, there's a heavy oak note. There's not. It's just it sort of comes into this clean. Again, that's why I keep going back to that grain note, to grain whiskey. It's just that clean vanilla that really good 20-something-year-old grain whiskeys have.
I almost get a blackberry, blueberry pancake note.
I get on the blueberry.
Yeah, there's almost like a blueberry pancake with little white frosting on top of it.
You said purple. That's so fitting. Just purple.
Yeah, it's a dark.
Smells
whiskey.
purple.
Very dark.
They got the label right, guys.
Yeah,
they did.
Absolutely.
It's almost so purpley. It's starting to almost lean into port territory kind of flavor.
Yeah, very sweet.
It's not,
purple.
but just kind of starting to creep in over.
It's too sweet to be port, but you're right. Yeah, no, you got me a little more excited, Keith. Saying the words. I'm like, ooh, is he going to give me some port? I like good port.
But you don't like drinking my real port. That's good port.
On the palate,
I like it with whiskey.
Sticky PX sherry. Insubstantial malt on this. Mm-hmm. Very insubstantial. I mean, it's mainly cask driven. A little bit of light chocolate here settling in at the end.
I get the malt in it. I'm not enjoying it. This reminds me of those single cask Glencadams I bought that were not. They had that tin metallic note, and it's coming through despite upfront sweet, sugary, superficial PX compared to like a really rich one, but in a good way. Like, I mean, I'm getting like all the nice stuff I like on PX.
It's a light PX, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like the density's not there yet.
Very thin.
It's kind of peppery and kind of, there is a harsh note there.
Yeah, and there's like that metallic.
There's a delicious prune note there too, though. On top of that, for me, there is some
Prune, yeah, that's it for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, let me go back here because I got that like metallic note so quick. I was like, man, let me enjoy the sweetness here. Yeah, up front, nice PX, but the finish gets that metallic little bitterness. Then there's a nice like vanilla red fruit thing kind of going on, a little creaminess. Man, this is like so close to being excellent, but it has like some off notes. Let's see what water does. You know, dare I say, I think the 46 actually is really helping this because it's giving us like
Access to more flavors because it is such a PX overcoat.
Yeah,
It's thinning it out a bit. It was by design.
yeah. If this was super like higher alcohol, I think you would just be getting punched and it wouldn't be pleasant. This is actually everything's open. It's easy to access. You're right. Those are good notes. Oh, cola. Cola definitely coming through now more.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Keith's notes. With like a chocolate whisper and a little bit of like burnt oak.
like a Coca-Cola cake from Cracker Barrel.
Like that.
Coca-Cola cake. Mm-hmm. It's a chocolate with cola.
Doesn't sound bad.
Nope.
The nose is really good.
Getting a little bit of graham cracker now too. Yeah, the metallic note's gone now on the nose.
I never really got a metallic note on the nose, but I definitely get where you're going with it on the palate. I think water does take it down a little bit.
You know, maybe almost like a hint of like a touch of watermelon, maybe.
There's definitely cinnamon, blackberries.
Blackberry's probably a better note, but it's like a
'Cause you-
watered down
It's
blackberry.
a type of wild berry, yeah.
Because the bitterness afterwards. The blackberries, it's sweet, but then there's that kind of bitterness after at the end.
Blackberries are really sweet berries, though.
Yeah, I'm getting more of again now. Metallic's down with water, but I do get more like that grain whiskey note,
Kind of insubstantial finish, too.
which I kind of is another way of Mike saying that the malt's not doing much here. Kind of the grain note, really, where it's just like the malt is bringing vanilla, and that's all it's doing here.
I think I've only had 2 or 3 other Glencadams. Have you guys had a ton?
We're very limited.
I've got about 3 single casks from them that are official bottles.
Do
and
they
then
not have the best
then I have the
spirit?
21. I found the spirit very unpleasant on those cask strength single casks. And the 20,
So Ralphie just must have had a good one that had a good cask, and he just likes because they non-chill filter.
he likes the 14 year, which I think is all ex-bourbon. So I think he actually enjoys the spirit by itself and proof down. But you know, Ralphie also
They
adds
also did the non-chill filtering. It's 46.
oh, of course.
you know.
Ralphie also likes to add 3 tablespoons of water, which maybe helps.
Who did that spoof video? Was that Horse Looning's son? Where he like put like tons of water in.
Few people have done that, I feel like, but yeah.
Okay, whiskey score time, fellas. It is Keith's bottle, so Dustin will go from you to Keith.
This is a tough one. I'm going to give it an 86. There's nothing here that's really off-putting that much. That metallic note even really is subtle enough. It's not an issue. No wow factors. The biggest thing for me really is that the finish. No one has mentioned that once because there is no finish really.
I did. I thought it was a very insubstantial finish.
Yeah. Well, my point being is no one's talked about the finish because it's not
Very
there.
insubstantial.
So yeah, 86. I think it's really nice. It's drinkable up front. I do like a drop of water in here, but that even makes the finish less substantial, which leaves me thinking just above your average whiskey, but definitely nothing special.
I'm also an 86, Dustin. There are things that I like here, but it does come off thin and insubstantial to me. There's some decent flavors in it. It's a darker whiskey, but but looking at this whiskey compared to looking at some other dark whiskeys you've had, like you expect more. But the 46% was the first sign.
First sign.
And it was followed by that finish.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, like, the darkness I think is not like. Well, let's take the darkness away because I know that kind of set the standard. Like we're expecting a flavor punch. Mm-hmm. It's good, but like better whiskeys just have more finish. But Keith, it's your body. Spent a little more time with it.
Yeah, give it to us.
Only one. I had one dram.
That's more than.
So
this.
I'll say I agree with everything you guys said. I do think the nose was very pleasant, but then when you switch in, like on the palate, you get that kind of grain, kind of something harsh. And in order to get rid of that, you got to put a little water. But when you put the water in it, it makes it really watered down, no finish, super thin,
delicate touch.
So I'm gonna make it a trifecta and make it 386s.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this new Glencadam PX quarter cask finish, 46% ABV, let us know what you guys think. Until next time, best of luck. We wish the folks.
Ralphie, can you do better?